4 days off, maybe you guys in the 2 practices that you had? How positive was that for you guys?
Just from looking at the team, looking at the guys, you can tell we can get in a little better shape, and just as a team, like just playing. That's why I always said that I like the fact that we can play games, we can work our way into shape, but having the time to go through everything in practice, and you kind of push yourself to fatigue and then push through fatigue. We had the opportunity to do that, so. I think you look at it both ways. When you're playing, you got to find out ways to get in better shape. You got to find out ways to rest, and you got to find out ways to get better as a team, and then vice versa when you're not playing.
What's the best way to get into rhythm? Is it games or is it practice?
It's really, I think it's up to the person, because during games you have to watch what's happening in the game, and you could be out of shape but look really good out there on the floor. If you know how to score, be efficient doing it, know how to just stay in the position that you need to be in, you could still be pretty much not in great shape. And that's why I always say, like, when you start the season, you have a tendency to get out of shape because you're kind of going through the same motions of run here, run there, and it's just, if you can work yourself outside of that box to where you can condition yourself on a greater level, then you'll be prepared for anything. So it's really hard to say. Practice, obviously, you can do some things where you can come down from rest and you could take your time doing it. But I always believe that if you get in shape in practice, then in the games you don't have to think about it.
What about the team basis? The team getting together.
That's a different monster because it can't just be 2 or 3 guys in shape. It can't be a situation where you're just running around in a game and you're doing things you want to do, because that one game is not necessarily what we're striving for. It's building the chemistry, and going on the run and building it for this season and then going to the playoffs. So, sometimes being in the shape is also mental. Everybody being on the same page and having a great rhythm, having great chemistry.
With 8 games down, that's typically what you play in the preseason. Do you think that right now you're about where you usually are?
There's no telling. There's no telling. It's hard to really, put a number or idea on it. It's just, we know that we had to get better. And even if we were sitting 8-0, we'd still think the same thing, that there's some things that we like to do better, and we've been in that predicament. In the 5 years I've been here, we've sat after 10, 15 games, sometimes happy and sometimes, like even with a great record, kind of pessimistic, thinking there's more to do and there's more growth as a team and as individuals we need to make. So that's the beautiful thing about it. If you didn't have to have something to work on, then what would occupy your mind?
What are some specific things you guys want to do better?
Right now in the current state, we got to have better starts. In the fourth quarter, we have to run through the finish line. We have to close out quarters better. And pretty much, I had to say that, every realm of the aspect of the game we have to get or improve at. So, it requires everybody on this team. It's not just the starters; it's the guys coming off the bench and bringing their energy.
Does it help knowing you have some high-quality opponents coming up the next couple nights? With Dallas tonight, Chicago.
For me, it doesn't really matter who we play, because I think every night defensively you could play perfect to the game plan, and offensively, if you can, there's numbers that we want to aspire to by keeping turnovers down and keeping, our field goal percentage at a certain point and keeping their field goal percentage at a certain point. So at the end of the day, it boils down to a statistic, and it determines how well we're doing out there, and that's kind of regardless of who we play every night.
Ray, Carlin just mentioned he sees a difference in teams that they go up against this year as opposed to past years when they weren't champions. What kind of difference did you notice 4 years ago coming off the championship?
It's hard to really say, because when we first got here, we feeling the same thing as if we won the championship. So it was guys that we didn't really know or weren't really highly or highlighted on the scouting report on the video before the game that came out and had great games against us. You know, just playing in the building where it's packed, and if you're in a city that you don't see a full attendance on any given night, it does get guys' juices flowing. So we've seen it. We've seen pretty much all of it, and that's one thing that I think we've done just a mediocre job at, as far as getting prepared for, you know, just the teams that are preparing for us, because their mindset may be different as we line up on both sides of the ball, you know, starting that game, and we got to always continue that hunger, have that hunger in our mindset, and that ability to say, hey, this is a team we really need to beat tonight.
That's right.